Oh boy, with the playoffs on the line, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got into a defensive battle. Two historic defenses between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. This game went down to the wire, just shutting each other down. And your Tampa Bay Buccaneers prevailed with the victory and are now headed to the playoffs. So, before I get into my full reaction, I am Rami B. If you are new here, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I post weekly Buccaneer reaction videos, and it looks like we will be extending this series at least one more week. So, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like I said, got into a battle with two historic defenses. The historic top three Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense with the top three Carolina Panthers defense to show us one of the worst offensive performances on either end that we've seen in a really, really, really long time. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a hard-fought game 9-0 against the ailing, horrible Carolina Panthers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a total of 228 total yards of offense, 115 passing, 113 rushing, and that is the balance that Todd Bowles has always wanted to see. Equal yards for rushing and passing. The Carolina Panthers had 198 total yards, 67 passing, 131 rushing. Really couldn't do anything on their end in the passing game. But let's go into the Buccaneer offense. Baker Mayfield, 20 of 32 for 137 yards. He was clearly playing hurt. I think he was limping at some point. His ribs hurt, you could tell. I don't know why Bowles wouldn't try to take him out and put Kyle Trask in, but I guess he felt this is a game where we could keep it really close and won't need to have an offensive explosion. Rachaad White had 19 carries for 75 yards, Chase Edmonds 4 for 27. Chris Godwin had 6 for 51, and now he has over 1,000 yards this season. So he did end the season with 1,000 yards. I think Rachaad White was short of 1,000 yards by like 8 or 9 yards. So he almost got it, but didn't. Kind of like Rojo in 2020. When he was, I think, 8 or 9 yards off. K-Don, 2 for 30, Evans, 3 for 22, and nobody else above 20 yards. I felt like this was a game where we should have force-fed Evans and tried to get him some touchdowns because he needed 2 more touchdowns to break the franchise record that he broke in 2021. It would have put him at 15. And also, I think him leading the NFL in touchdowns is at risk because I think he's ahead of Tyreek Hill by 1 touchdown. And Tyreek Hill plays tonight against the Buffalo Bills, and they're fighting for a division title as well. So hopefully Tyreek Hill gets 0 touchdowns and Evans holds on to have the touchdown lead this season. He was named as a Pro Bowl starter, so that is very good on that end, and I'm glad that he's getting the recognition he deserves. But overall, the game plan by Canales was not good. Again, the team that went 4-0 in that 4-0 run, that went, and faced, Atlanta, Carolina, Green Bay, and Jaguars. Again, this looks like the offense that was on that 1-6 run earlier in the season. So something's got to change because if we make the playoffs, we're not going to win many games. We're not going to win any game scoring 9 points. Defensively, I mean, the defense did really great, but is it the defense or is it Carolina, who's been shut out now for 2 games straight? Yaya Diaby, 1 sack. Joe Tronscienka, 1 sack, and he finally made a play in the 3 years he's been in the league. He did get a forced fumble on a drive. I want to say that Carolina was driving and potentially could have gotten a field goal out of it. Antoine Winfield showing you why he should have been in the Pro Bowl over Budda Baker. 1 sack and 1 forced fumble that saved the touchdown essentially when I think it was DJ Shark was running and dove into the end zone, and Winfield hit him right at the goal line and the ball popped out. Similar to what happened against Atlanta the first time we played him when Desmond Ridder was running into the end zone, and I think it was Antoine Winfield, same thing, hit him and he fumbled as well. So very similar there. And again, it's a robbery. Antoine Winfield should have been in the Pro Bowl. Budda Baker missed 6 games, 5 games, something like that, had 0 picks, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, and 50 total tackles, while Winfield is, almost double, if not double the amount of tackles. Winfield has now 5 forced fumbles, 3 picks, 5 fumble recoveries as well, or 4 fumble recoveries, something like that. Like, he's playing all around. And I saw they put a stat saying since like 1999, no player has had, or no safety has had 100 tackles, hasn't had 3 picks, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, like some insane historic stat line. But he's an alternate, BS. But yeah, defense played their behinds off and put in a really good performance. The Carolina offense didn't do much. Bryce Young, 11 of 18 for 94 yards. He had that fumble. Hubbard, 23 for 83. DJ Chark had 2 catches for 46 yards and that 1 fumble at the goal line. And then nobody else on their team has caught more than 15 yards. I think Adam Thielen was second with 11 yards. So offense completely non-existent at home. It seemed like I was kind of going back and forth and seeing how bad we were. I was like, should we lose and then, you know, make sure Bowles and that entire staff is replaced? And it was like Carolina didn't want us to lose at all. They wanted us to win. Maybe they hate the Saints as much as we do, and they were like, you know what? F the Saints, let the Bucs go in. But they missed a field goal. They had that fumble at the goal line. So, yeah. Do I still think Todd Bowles will remain as a head coach? I don't know. I think we have to win a playoff game for sure for it to be in the consideration. But I think if we go in and get blown out like we did last year, I think you have to make a change because we limped our way into the playoffs. We were supposed to, you know, we were on that 4-game win streak. Offense was balling, defense was balling. Saints beat us, no big deal. This is a chance to kind of make a statement, and we couldn't even score double-digit points. So I think we limped our way into the playoffs rather than really fighting and earning it. Like, had we beaten the Saints, we would have made a statement. So yeah, that's the case. So the Bucs clinched the division for the 3rd straight year. I think that's the first time in franchise history we've clinched it 3 straight years. We finished 9-8, a better record than last year when we were 8-9. However, who do I trust more in the playoffs? Probably last year's team because Brady and all those comebacks, but we'll see. And, you know, with Baker hurt, who knows if he'll be healthy by next week. But we did clinch it for the 3rd straight year, which makes me feel good. You know, it's that kind of double-edged sword. Like, you want to win it to tell the Saints, like, we run the South now 3 years in a row, but at the same time, it's like, if it brings back Bowles for another year, do we really think the team will be that much better, you know, next year because of the decisions he makes? Who knows? The Saints, at the time of this recording, were up like 41-17 or something against the Falcons. So they're going to win. They're going to finish 9-8, but we have the tiebreaker because of the division record. They will make the playoffs as a wild card team if the Seattle Seahawks and the Packers lose. So I think Packers, if they win, they're in as a wild card. If Packers lose and Seahawks win, they get that wild card. If both of them lose, Saints win. Saints will get into the playoffs. Falcons finished 7-10 and the Panthers 2-15. So the Bucs did pull off 3 straight division titles. And then as for the playoffs next week, we are either going to face the Cowboys or the Eagles. So if the Cowboys beat the Washington Commandos, Cowboys are in, and the Bucs will face the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Cowboys lose and the Eagles beat the Giants, the Bucs will face the Cowboys. Now, who do I prefer us to face? Not really sure. The Eagles are reeling. They've lost, 4 of their last 5 games. They don't look that good. However, the way our offense played today, only scoring 9 points, I think the Eagles would beat us. Our run defense is kind of, you know, we gave up 130-some yards rushing. The Eagles are primarily a rushing team. So we'll see what happens there. Or do I want us to face the Cowboys, who are 8-0 at home and like 3-4 or 3-5, you know, on the road? I'm not sure. The Cowboys scare me a little more than the Eagles just because of their firepower. Because, you know, they're able to throw the ball all over the field. They got playmakers, and I think the Eagles are reeling a little bit and are a little more desperate. But who knows? I think either way, I don't know if we beat either of those teams, to be honest, unless the offense reverts back to how it looked against the Packers and the Jaguars. So we'll see, but we can still celebrate. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are NFC South division winners for 3 years in a row, and Bowles did something that Bruce Arians couldn't do. He's won it twice. Bruce Arians only won it once in 2021. So yeah, I guess that's something that to praise Bowles on, but it's not like we earned it. You know, we wanted it with an 8-9 record and a 9-8 record. So Bowles, as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer head coach, is at a .500. He's at a 500 record, whereas Bruce Arians was 9-7 the first year, or 7-9, 9-7 I think, and then we were 11-5 and then 13-4. So clearly, if you take the years Brady had, we were 11-13, 24-9 versus 18-18. So yeah, anyways, Buck Nation, comment down below what you think. Who would you rather face in the playoffs? And as always, let's go Bucks. Maybe we'll shock the world and win a playoff game. Who knows? But as always, I am out.